Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Indeed, the independent wrestling podcast. Some would say it's the best independent wrestling podcast
Ever.
ever. Maybe. Nah, I don't know. But again, it's me, Mike Hamley, here to talk some independent wrestling with my wonderful co-host, Righteous Reg. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty great. It's your boy, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, Righteous Reg, Right Said Fred, Right Said Reg, all the names you could come up with. King of Cinema. Very excited to be here today. We got a very special couple of guests here.
Yeah.
We never in professional wrestling in all aspects, from the mainstream to the indies to the very bottom, or whatever you want to call that, tag team wrestling is never discussed enough. It's never talked about enough. It's never seen enough. And here on Indeed, we want to pay respect to tag team wrestling today. So, Mike, who's our super special tag team guest we have that's dominating the tag team ranks right now?
Only one of the most consistent and hottest tag teams in all of independent wrestling right now. We've got Ringleader Midas and Jay Lion, both members of the main eventer here. How's it going, guys? Thank you for joining us.
Man. Thanks for the nice words and welcome. It's a pleasure to be here, man. To be honest, I'm ready to go. Lion, how you feeling?
He's I believe he's like in the midst of
Is he
driving
in-
and parking, so
Oh,
he's like in and out right now.
I told him,
Oh, it's this connection. So bad.
Come on, man,
What's
get it
up,
together.
everybody?
You're making us look bad.
He's not on the phone and driving. You know, the main event promotes safe road habits.
Look at that. Yeah. See, there's something to this.
There we go. But thank you again for joining us. We've been really looking forward to having like some tag team discussion on here, but it's cool to get actually both members of the tag team to be able to sit down and join us and hear both sides of everything. Like, which one of you is the mad scientist that puts together all the crazy double team shit?
To be fair, that's both of us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a nice mix. Sometimes I have my days, sometimes I have my weeks, and then sometimes when I'm not mentally there, he has his days and he has his weeks, and then sometimes it's just really it's really all the time a collaborative effort. Like there is no stronger like out of the two of us. Like it's pretty even.
Have you always both been like creatives like this, or does learning from under the tree of an innovator like Amazing Red kind of kickstart that sort of a process?
For me personally, I wasn't this creative. Like maybe like when I was thinking about becoming a wrestler, I thought I was creative, and then when I joined wrestling, it wasn't creative at all. And Red really unlocked that creativity key. And then I think Lion and I just fed off each other's energy. Like there's things that I'm creative about that he's like, oh wow, I never saw it from that point of view. And then there's things that he's creative about that I'm like, oh wow, I never saw it from that point of view. And then we put our creativity together, and it's just created this big old mess of this circus thing called the main event.
You definitely got the innovation on lock. I think being a dedicated tag team, I'm sure lends to that as well. But when you guys get in there with like someone like Best Bros and get to show it off like from both sides, that match was crazy. I'm waiting for the Bang Bros match. That's got to happen sometime.
Oh man,
I need that one.
I think we need it too. I've seen those guys kill it with Miracle when we first went to Black Label Pro, and I was like, oh man, whenever we do come back, that's the match that we want. Because I just, and Lion can attest to this, like I love finding real tag teams, and I love finding creative tag teams like that that you could just mesh and gel with. And just so many ideas come to mind already when I watched them the first time. I was like, oh yeah, if this ever happens. Yes, sir.
I heard Black Label Pro. I heard Innovation. Shout out to the Bang Bros.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I like. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's funny. That says something that those keywords like automatically lead to. Like, I know exactly right now.
That's how you know it's authentic and we're not, like BSing you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Word.
just those are the guys over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that. How did you guys make the conscious effort to want to become a tag team out here? Because, you know, a lot of people in wrestling I've learned are selfish. Nobody wants to you don't want somebody else to get a shine. You're in a match, you're like, yo, no, I need all the shine
Oh
myself.
yeah,
What was
yeah.
the conscious effort from the beginning to kind of be like, nah, if we do this thing together, we might be able to soar even higher?
Um, for me, and I'll let Lion tell his side as well.
Mhm.
For me, when I wanted to be a pro wrestler, I didn't picture myself as WWE champion. I pictured myself as WWE tag team champion.
Mm.
I always wanted to be in a tag team from young. I just feel like I felt like in from younger, the storytell version in my head was like, wow, if you're in a tag team, you're teaming up with your best friend and you're doing this with your best friend.
Right.
And then you grow up and you realize that's not the case all the time. So now when I got to Hog, I joined with my my best friend and we were the tag team. And then he left and I was the singles wrestler. And I turned to Lion for one time only. And I was like, hey man, like we should team up just this one time. Let's just we not doing nothing. We got nothing going on and maybe we might open some eyes. And we teamed up that one time and it was honestly just magic. I say it all the time and I feel like I sound like a record player now, but it's honestly the best thing that ever happened. And I think because I had the mindset already of like a tag team can only be as good if both of them are in it together in every aspect, not just in ring but out the ring. Like I said it multiple times, Lion is my road wife. He knows everything about me. He holds me down. He holds me down when I'm not mentally there. Like that's what he's there for, and I love him for it.
That's fantastic.
And vice
Lot.
versa, of course. Like it goes hand in hand. It goes both ways. You know.
The sounds of New York City traffic.
Right.
Right?
Just
Hey,
car
it's
horns.
authentic. It's authentic.
It is.
Absolutely. They are a New York tag team.
I think I faintly heard like some Tim boots stepping in the background back there. I don't know.
They say if you
Oh,
listen,
God.
they say if you listen closely enough, you can still hear people saying yeah.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Yeah, that's it. So that is, kind of like what Reg was leaning into. It's, it not like there's the selfish side of wrestling, but then there's also like it's just, it's hard enough to also be a singles wrestler
Right.
and wrestling independent and, like making different cities and, traveling just on one person, like the expense and everything of traveling one person. So obviously you said, tag team wrestling has kind of always been your desire. And was that the same for you too, Jay?
Not really, but I actually always loved tag team wrestling. Independent wrestling gave me more of a love of tag team wrestling because, and that's not disrespect to a lot of singles wrestlers, but um, when we came into indies, we had amazing tag teams around us. Like we had
Oh, he died.
Oh,
I know who he was gonna say though.
yeah. Let's play the
It's
new
when
lead
he's supposed
line.
to tag in. It's where partners
I
come
know
in.
he's gonna say he was definitely gonna say we had a lot of amazing tag teams around us. Like we trained with Private Party before they got
Mm-hmm.
signed, so we was
Yep.
training with them, and Santana and Ortiz were a huge presence because they were Hog regulars,
Mm-hmm.
and just watching their growth specifically, um, that's what made us really like, wow, like this tag team thing is special,
Mm-hmm.
and they showed that, like if you really know Private Party and you really know Santana and Ortiz, you know that they are tag team wrestling. Like that's just what it is. Like their work speaks for itself.
Santana and Ortiz, please
Oh
work it
man.
out, brothers. please, Santana and Ortiz. I want to talk more about wrestling specifically
Okay.
because, as people know, if you've ever seen this podcast, my favorite independent wrestler of all time. The reason that I do this podcast is because one night, very, very late, I discovered a match between the Amazing Red and Brian XL
Hmm.
in CZW. They were outside. I remember it so distinctively. Seeing Red hit the Red Star Press, seeing him hit that Phoenix Splash, like my whole life changed that day. And now you guys, one of the last big huge match that you guys had was in a tag match against Amazing Red and Brian XL. It's crazy how still after all these years, both these guys are still active.
Yeah.
And but more important than that, that they created this great place for all you guys to, create these great wrestling moments. How is it to be able to work alongside and learn alongside Amazing Red and Brian XL?
Honest to God, if I didn't have those two, if I didn't learn from them, I don't think any of you guys would be seeing the Midas Black that you guys get today.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think I'd probably be one of those wrestlers, and this is not a shot at anyone. We just have wrestlers like this that think they know everything when in reality they're just too stubborn to fix their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful that they gave me the tools to be the wrestler that I am today. Like there's no other learning tree like that, like them, and it's not for everyone. Like everyone has their own training style. Everyone has their own style that they can deal with. But those two for me, they've they've made me prepared for whatever I'm ready for in
Mm-hmm.
wrestling.
Yeah, and also shout out to Xavier, John Xavier.
Yes.
He's another one. Just made us into animals. Like I think it's so different. Like we got three completely different psychologies. I think Brian really teaches us the business side of professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Red makes us crisp and everything in the ring with the IQ and psychology. But man, Xavier taught us how to be like just have grit.
And tough.
Like he put us
He,
through stuff that I never even thought we would survive. And like hot as hell, right? Like the the old hog school Saturday mornings. It was hot, maybe like it felt like 130 in the
hmm
dojo, and we're just doing Japan style workouts till we like practically throw up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those three men right there. I really don't know where we would be as a team without them.
It's fantastic.
That's so New York too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brian XL and the Amazing Red, current GCW tag champions.
There's some debate, I think. I think there's a little bit of debate.
Look at the eye
A
roll.
lie.
Look at the eye roll.
Yeah. Well, we know you want the hog belts back from them too, most assuredly. Any plans on when you want to try to take those?
Oh, we already got everything set up. We
Yeah.
just announced a match. August. Help me line. I believe August 18th,
Oh.
and that will be in a steel cage match
Hey,
against Amazing Red and Brian XL.
the Bookers.
And we will be taking our titles back because this is our real chance. This is it.
That's gonna be
Okay.
hard.
I'm looking forward. That's gonna be dope. Steel cage match.
Yeah. Big deal. This has been a lot of build up to this match,
Oh
man.
yeah.
How has it been for kind of getting out of Hog, kind of expanding? I think in the last 8-9 months, you guys have expanded to some other regions, some other promotions, and really started to, put the main event, C4 Wrestling, put the main event flag down in different promotion. How has it been traveling with your guys' tag team act?
I feel like it's funny. I feel like when we first started, we already kind of like ended up branching out on Hog because we didn't first have our first wrestling match at Hog. We had our
Right.
first wrestling match outside,
Mhm.
and we didn't get booked on a House of Glory show maybe until like a year and a half
Mhm.
that we were in. So like we really started everything outside of Hog already. And then but we were still within Hog. Like it was no love lost. It was just more of a like, you know what? We feel like we can do our thing respectfully without disrespecting the
Mhm.
brand,
Yeah.
because that's the difference between a lot of places and their students and whatever. That there has to be a mutual respect
Mhm.
between you and your trainer when you go out and say, I'm gonna just have a match anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very big on like representing our trainer. If we mess up, that's on Red's eyes. That falls on his back. So I would say, as far as like branching out, to get back to your main point, um, it's nothing new to us just because we've been doing it since the beginning. It's
Mhm.
now that the proper places, and I guess the right places with the right eyes are starting to reach out, and it's more of a like, okay, the time is now here. This is everything we've worked for, everything we've been working towards, all this
Mhm.
traveling to busting our asses and all these smaller places. This is where we want to be. So it's nothing new. We're training,
Mhm.
we're ready for it. So it's been a blessing, to be honest, to be in all these places.
As did like coming out of the pandemic, did that really like kind of amplify things? Because I noticed when I was doing some research on you guys this week, I was like, the like pre 2021,
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's like you've been to a few
pan,
promotions, but like
pandemic.
after 2021, it's like you guys in like 1 year like almost tripled the amount of promotions you wrestled for.
Pandemic was the greatest worst thing to ever happen.
Mhm.
Literally, like for guys like us in that time where wrestling was taken away from everyone, and you had all these people that were, prominent names in indie wrestling or in wrestling period, and then we all know what happened in that time period and stuff, and people started leaving, and it was like, wow, like look at all these open opportunities whenever wrestling comes back. And then for someone like us, are you scared of COVID? Of course I'm scared of COVID. I don't know what it is, but I'm not gonna stop it from letting me live my life either. This was my dream.
Mhm.
This was his dream. And we had that conversation like, hey man, when wrestling opens up, are we going, or are we just gonna stay with everyone else? And he was like, I'm down. And that was it. We had nothing to lose. So coming out of COVID and all these opportunities are open, and then it's like, oh, you guys are a real tag team. You guys aren't just put together. Oh, I
Yep.
think I have something for you guys. You guys love tag team wrestling. And then not only do we come in and have a tag team match, but we try to lead by example. We give, you know, we try to help build whatever division we're in for whatever company we're in. Where you're not just gonna get two people that just, here's your match and here's your pay.
Mhm.
You're gonna get two people that care about everything from top to bottom about this company, because we're part of this company now.
Is that all, is that kind of around the time too that you made the trips down to Jacksonville for Dark?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that was right. The prominent glory days of COVID.
Yeah. All right. Oh, hey,
And that
look how the fearlessness paid off, though.
it definitely did. And Dark was another, blessing, just to, we went and had that loop, and we didn't expect anything. We expected one match, and then turns out we had four matches, and the four matches we ended up being in the ring with four prominent tag teams
Mhm.
of the AEW division, not only the AEW division, but currently today.
Yeah.
And we wrestled Jungle Boy, Dark Order, FTR,
FTR. Yeah. No
Mhm.
big deal. No big deal.
and SCU. And SCU and FTR specifically for us was the ones that was like, you know what? Maybe you guys have something here.
Yeah.
Like maybe this wrestling thing will work out for you guys.
Mhm.
was that Daniels and Kazarian SCU, or was it Scorpio and
Yes.
Kazarian?
It,
Daniels.
it was
Oh, wow, Daniels and Kazarian too. Wow, what a
yes.
fallen angels.
Yeah, it's like if you can hang with these tag teams, then you can really do it. And y'all were in there like this was just another day at the office.
It felt like that when we were in the ring.
Yeah.
But when, backstage, everything, I told Lion, I was like, hey, bro, we have another match today. And he's like, oh, against who? And I'm like, FTR. And he goes, okay, you're joking. And I'm like, I'm so serious. I'm so serious. And he's like, yeah, okay, like, joke's over. You can stop, laugh, you can stop. And I'm like, all right, when you go to that board and you see names, and then he goes to the board and he's like, holy bro. And I'm like, I know. But everything there was a blessing, from the in ring to the out the ring to just being backstage as an extra, and learning, because I learned so much on that loop, and Lion learned so much on that loop, and it's actually stood with us to this day. Like, even if we haven't been on Dark since, those lessons stayed.
Right.
And whatever you guys are getting from us, those are the lessons that we've learned. So it's just a matter of keep on going, and that's about it.
Well, it's
That's hard.
yeah, the matches are getting bigger, the opponents are getting bigger, the stakes are getting bigger, the title shots are starting to come around now too. Steel cage match. That's still gonna be crazy.
Just a chance to prove ourselves even more.
There we go. So earlier earlier we were kind of mentioning it's hard, it's hard enough being a singles wrestler, let alone forging ahead as a tag team. What is for the listeners who are maybe not so in touch with the logistics outside of the ring of being an independent wrestling tag team, like what does being a tag team make easier, and also what becomes like infinitely harder?
Lion, are you there?
Yeah, I'm just hoping I don't get cut out.
If you get cut out, I'll take over.
Yeah.
I'll let you go.
I think with the harder stuff, I think people really take for granted the talent that we have individually. Because little do people know, I could work singles matches, and so can he, and we could put on bangers with like the best people. Because I mean, the best tag teams are also great singles wrestlers.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And that's just something that a lot of promoters haven't really taken advantage of, because they just see such a package deal with us, which I'm 100% grateful for. But that's one really big obstacle. If one of us gets injured, unless we really, really like show out, like the chances of the other getting booked is really tough. And that's because you're just categorized on this one category. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case. And there's plenty of people who can like prove that. You know what I mean?
The hard parts. I just think the hard part is just when you have those days, and you have those days where, like, there's times where Lion and I are talking 24/7, and then there's just those days where we just don't have the mental capacity to not only deal with each other, but deal with people in general. And I think the toughest part is just remembering to energize yourself, and just push through sometimes. But again, I'm super grateful just to have the support system I have, and the support system, like vice versa for him. But I think the mental struggles is the toughest parts about all of this. I feel like anything physical, I've learned at this point, like, it's gonna pass, and it passes faster than the mental.
Yeah, funny, because you know when you're gonna heal. Like, the amount of times you get banged up. Like, I could tell you how many bruised knees I've had, and I know exactly it's gonna take 2 or 3 days, and I'll shake it off, and by Friday and Saturday or Thursday even, I'm good to wrestle. Because, man, I'll be bruised up, we'll be banged up, and we'll just go to training. And that's also another thing that independent wrestlers don't do. Like, yo, go to training. I literally, when we're done here, like I'm going inside and I'm gonna go like in my dojo and do my thing because I need to. Like we need to keep our bodies strong. You know what I mean? Like the mental is really, like he said, the hardest part. Like it's the hardest part.
I just got to pop a chat message up here that we got, but saw these guys for the first time at C4 a few weeks ago and loved it. So much fun. Can't wait to see them perform again. And that was from Erica. Thank you, Erica.
Yeah, I love C4, man. I love C4 so much, like so much.
That makes my Maple Canadian heart very warm and fuzzy to hear that. C4 is, well, we love C4 here. We talk about them plenty. Mark's been on the show here. We had him on for their anniversary, so
The
we
last
had a
time
good time there.
The last time our last Canada loop was actually our favorite time in Canada.
Yeah, it really was.
It was like literally the best, like from in and out the ring. Just the experience this time around. This was probably like what our third time there.
Not well at C4. Nah, this is like our
fourth time, yeah. And from the man to C4 to Smash for 2 days, like the crowd, that crowd made me remember that there are fans that just love wrestling for wrestling. And it's a beautiful thing to still see.
Yeah, speaking from a Canadian standpoint, obviously it's really hard for our wrestlers to get into America. Yeah. So anytime, generally we're going to get, like a recognized name or team from the US coming up here, we always it's great because it's like, this will be like, a fresh matchup that I haven't got to see really because our guys aren't really getting over to the States because of the visa stuff and not wanting to get pinched for illegally entering. And then, so to kind of get fresh matchups, we either need new wrestlers to continually be coming up all the time, constantly, or, we need promoters to be bringing teams like the Main Event up here, which you got to wrestle probably Canada's most notorious and highest regarded tag team, TDT.
Oh, such a good team, man.
Love them so
such
much.
a good team. Such a good team.
They are the they're what I consider like they're my favorite tag team, like especially coming out of Canada. But like I feel like they're so many people's favorite team that they just don't know it yet because they haven't got a chance to see them.
They were the match we wanted, like when we first got to Canada.
Nice.
And they were known, and I was like, when we started making our name, I was like, these are clearly the guys that we need to be in the ring with one day.
Let's just be real, they're fucking men. Sorry for cursing. They are men. They're big and strong. You know what I mean? Like, dude. I mean, it says it. The F word is in their name in front of their name. That is crazy to me when I look that up.
And they need to be in the States more. They definitely they're a team that should be everywhere in the States. 100%.
I couldn't agree with you more. I have like a mental list of TDT dream matches that I need to see happen sometime soon.
Got to put them out there, big dog. Got to put them out there.
Yeah,
I know. Manifest it.
I got to. Yeah, no, but I trust they're all gonna happen one day. I don't know. It's a matter of time. I'm sure. There's a lot of guys up here. You've seen it. You've been up here. You did Demand and all that.
Yep.
You know what's going on in Canada.
Yeah, we got a lot of hidden talent out there.
Yeah, we got that crazy maple syrup energy going on up here.
It's good energy.
yeah, big maple energy. We talked about the hard part, so like some stuff's got to get a little easier though when there's two of you, right? Like I'm talking specifically outside of the ring because like,
yeah,
but.
100%. I think the easy part is knowing that, because me personally, I'm starting to get tired of the traveling, which is it could be a bad thing to say, but like, I think I'm allowed to feel this way after 6 or 7 years or so.
Definitely.
So, traveling is just taking its toll a little bit more for me now. But what makes it easy is knowing that I have Lion right there with me. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just go, and it's always a fun time. Easy. What else comes easy with this now, Lion? Like, I feel like now when we pose it as a question, nothing's coming to me. But there are so many things that are easier now.
The tag team.
Yeah, like outside the ring, like what's easy now that wasn't maybe as easy a couple years ago.
I think talking to promoters because we
Oh,
kind of have more
definitely.
a name, and we have way more confidence. So like if I feel a little weird about something, I'm gonna go to promoter because at the end of the day we're trying to enhance the their show, and we may have a perspective and an idea that the promoter didn't even think about because realistically they're not pro wrestlers, and that's okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what we're here for, to enhance your show.
This is true. That was definitely a tough part back in the day, like just being afraid of speaking out and then I lost my spot. And now it's like we don't. I'm not gonna say we don't care about losing our spot because I think everyone cares about their job. But if we're not afraid to speak up if something's wrong, and we're not afraid to speak up if like we feel like it jeopardizes our character or integrity. So definitely that's something that's easier now.
Super dope.
Yeah, and this isn't it's not coming from a place of cockiness, but if one promoter doesn't love us or doesn't love the way we work and doesn't love our dedication, like somebody else will. Like we're not everybody's flavor of ice cream, but like a lot of people like chocolate. You know what I mean? Like or vanilla, and that's fine. It also doesn't mean that the door is always closed because good business is good business at the end of the day.
The confidence has also gotten easier.
Mm-hmm.
The confidence, I think that's the key. Because I think even I watch older matches of us maybe 2 years back, and I'm like two totally different people now. Like, and that just comes with knowing your craft and knowing your work and knowing who you are. Like, I think that's become the easiest part now. We found out who we are, and we know who we are. That's probably one of the easiest things now.
I would not that I'm like in much of a position to know anything because I don't do this for a living.
Oh,
but
he died.
Oh no, we lost Jay. Oh my God.
It.
It's all right.
It happens.
Tag me in.
Right. It's okay. Now that he's not here, this is where we talk all the shit about him. Come on.
This is my big break. Oh,
God. I heard you.
Damn, there goes my singles run.
Damn. Sorry, guys. I figured if I restarted it, maybe it would stay.
You actually sound better.
You do.
Yeah,
You do.
I
Yeah.
was like, let me just restart it. Cool. Thank God. Sorry, guys. My service was garbage. Hot garbage.
No, it's all good.
It's okay.
Oh, I was about to drop the jewels.
Oh man.
He's about to bury me.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, of course, we're talking to the main event, in not just independent wrestling, but a lot of wrestling in general. A lot of people don't have characters or something that they could clinch onto. If you ask a person their favorite wrestler and then you say, well, what is their character? 95% of people will be like, he's a really good wrestler, but you guys have like something to bite onto, something for people to remember after the show. How is it to be able to use your character and differentiate? Did you think that was going to help you guys in a land of so many tag teams that you guys do have characters attached to it?
100%. I think one of the lessons that we learned early on, like when I was first training and trying to figure out a character, because God knows I had awful character creations.
Oh, they were really bad.
And
the service so I could tell them.
Please go. Go ahead, Jay. Yeah.
Glad the service is back.
Yeah, let's hear him.
Listen. They were just bad, like really cringeworthy. And I know the number one thing that I learned heavy on was you need to have something that people could just say, oh, he's this.
Yes.
Not he's this because of that, because of this. And I was like, okay. And lion was easy. What is he? He's a lion.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like,
Roar.
well, what am I? And then when we put this circus thing together, it was like, oh, he's the ringleader.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, was able to grow. But I
He
think
told me
that's
he whipping me, and that would have been really dark.
Yeah, no, that
oh,
would have it would have took a
shit.
different turn. This would have been a different tag
oh,
team.
Yeah.
that was like literally the one time only our debut. I came out with like a whip, and I was like, I'm gonna whip you, bro.
It was like,
all right.
I was like, ah.
A wild thing for somebody to say, I'm gonna whip you, bro. Like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
What?
God, awful things.
Bro, he whipped
But
like told me like I owed money.
but I the
That's insane.
character we knew that was what was gonna help us because
Mhm.
every time we was watching, these matches live at indie shows when we're not wrestling, I would see all the reactions go to the characters, and the match wasn't anything special, but those were the memorable pieces, and those are the
Yep.
over people, and they're not the best wrestlers,
Mm-mm.
but they're the best characters, and that's what's gonna keep your job. And now I'm also seeing these characters work smart. These characters working very smart, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a whole nother IQ of wrestling that I want to unlock because it's very nice to, when you can go, you can go, and that's a blessing. But when you can work smart, you can work smart, and that's also a blessing. So characters, 100%, they're needed. Then not everyone needs to be a character.
No.
Not everyone needs to have this, comedic character. When people look at us, they think we're a comedic tag team, and that's all fine and dandy. We can be comedic, but we can also go, and that was what we wanted to show people that you can be a character, but you can also go when you need to, and shut people up at the same time. But yeah, and I mean that with all the, it sounds like a chip on the soldier chip on the soldier. Gosh, chip on the shoulder, but that's just what we dealt with, year one. Year one was a lot of I've never seen these guys before. Who are a circus guy? I'm gonna
Mhm.
point and laugh, and then by the end of the match, it's like, oh, I actually think I like these guys, and I think we're the definition of don't judge a book by its cover.
I can safely say now the first time I saw you guys, I didn't think so much like comedy, but I was like, it just more stuck out to me immediately. I'm like, oh, that's like a recognizable thing that I can attach to. It's like they're the
Right.
guys who do the circus thing. But then the way you've also, managed to craft an entire offense kind of playing off of that as well with, the Ring of Fire to Suicide
Mhm.
Dive and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good hooks. It's
Wrestling's a circus, man.
It is.
Like
It
it's
is.
literally is what it is.
Yeah.
So, the fact that we're able to also take this circus characters together and move it forward because it was hard at first and it's still hard sometimes. But like the number one thing, I was like, there's not a lot of successful circusy wrestling stuff
Mm-mm.
to really look
No.
back on. The only to me, and I could be wrong, so shoot me, but like Doink is the only one that stands out.
That's the only thing I was thinking of right now. It's
Yeah.
like a Doink? Who
Yeah,
besides
it,
Doink?
it,
Yeah.
it might be recency bias from like watching Dark Side last night, but yeah, that's pretty.
I think someone else that had like
Yeah,
a solid like little play on it was like Crazy Steve.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or the
Yeah.
vaudevillains. The vaudevillains had a decent one.
Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
but vaudevillains are more carny.
Yeah,
And there's a
True.
difference between circus and carny.
True.
So
True.
I feel like the flops like Kazarni and all due respect to these people, like visually aesthetically pleasing, but where did it go from there? And I think that was our biggest problem. Like if we do this circus thing, how can we take this and make it progress? Because everywhere in wrestling has shown that it just has this ceiling plateau, and we wanted to just show that we can try to push that as much as we can.
Speaking of pushing it, you ever gonna light the hoop on fire?
Everyone
For
asks this
real?
question. Everyone asks this
For
question.
real? Come on.
I'll tell you this. If it's ever the right place, right time, and the right situation, I think we would. I've spoken to Lion about this because he's the one jumping through the hoop, not me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, true.
But
You just got to light it and hold it. He's got to actually,
but
you know.
he has expressed to me that he is open to it. It's just about right situation and stuff because
Money.
Also,
I'm pretty
situation.
not
Like-
even like money, of course, but like it just we like to make our stuff mean something.
Yeah.
True.
So it gotta be something meaningful.
That's a respectable opinion, especially on the independent scene, where not necessarily everybody's holding off on their best shit for the right moment. It's very much like
They're like, this Saturday, I'm gonna put it all on the line. Who cares?
We
There's no
have-
build up.
We have so much stuff in our back pocket that we
Yeah.
haven't even like brought out yet, and it's just because
Yeah.
right situation, right time. We have stuff 3 years that we haven't done. And I'm like, all right, right time will come.
something I enjoy about the modern indie landscape of things being streaming and like readily accessible is getting weekly stuff like Wrestling Open, where you've actually been able to like you're saying, there's stuff that you guys have been holding off on. You can see bits of it like every now and then at Wrestling Open. It's like they weren't doing that like 6 months ago, or
Wrestling
3
Open is such a great platform and product. Like that's really, I feel like, also where we got to really hit the gears and get grinding and moving. Because when you're having a 5-minute match and people are like, oh my God, I can't do anything in 5 minutes. Wrestling Open teaches you, oh no, you can actually do these things in 5 to 8 minutes without having to go overboard. And it taught us how to work this style. And now we're getting the same, the fans that are live, they're there every week. So how can we throw them off? How can we not exhaust ourselves or like oversaturate ourselves to them?
It also taught us how to be kind of like not married to just the hoop, because there was once upon a time we did the Ring of Fire every match, and now we don't really have to. We kind of found ways around it where like I've heard people ask like, what happened to the hoop, right? But what's crazier is that their response is, it's crazy, I didn't realize I didn't get the hoop until the end of the match. And they enjoyed the whole contest without needing the Ring of Fire. And if we don't have the Ring of Fire, we do the tightrope moonsault. Like, there are other tricks and other things. We might not even do the Ring of Fire to the outside. We might do it in the ring, from outside to in the ring. We might he might throw it through a through a door or something. Like, you know what I mean? I might go through it to cannonball onto somebody through a door. Like, there's so many possibilities with that one thing.
Wrestling Open is such a good place because it pushes you past your comfort zone. So it's like, there you're gonna step out your comfort zone, and it's either gonna make you a better wrestler or it's gonna show you like, wow, I have a little bit more work to do, and that's okay too. We stepped out our comfort zone and we became heels out there, and that was something that a lot of people didn't even see coming. And then, let alone, we went a full year and a half just on this little nice heel run, and everyone was like, God, I didn't think I could hate you guys, but I actually do. Or like, I miss cheering you guys. And I'm like, well, get used to it, bud, because
it's what we are.
But it's been nice to just be able to play around and also find ourselves more at Wrestling Open because of all of this that they're giving us. So very grateful for that platform.
Them reps, huh? Those reps are super important, right?
Reps are super important.
I think the biggest thing I learned from that Wrestling Open stint is that you can really build something on the independents and have a big payoff.
Right.
And I think that's also what we have with this cage match with Brian and Red, is that like people do want to see stories. People want to feel like the GIF days of wrestling died in 2020 when there was no more wrestling. Now it's like people were bored at home. They had places like Camp Leapfrog or GCW, and those are the only things to tune into aside from Monday Night Raw and AEW, and everything was more story based, and we were really grasping people's attention that way.
Didn't matter if the story was good or not, people were paying attention.
Right.
Yeah.
People knew every aspect of the story, whether it was the lower tier story or the higher tier story. Like, and that's when we realized, okay, people want story. Like, they don't care about the wrestling.
Mhm.
Like, you should still be a good wrestler. You should know how to be a wrestler. But
Yeah.
know how to really take these fans on a ride. And we're not the greatest storytellers, but we definitely try our best, and we definitely go, I say, the extra mile just to make sure a story is good. Like, we'll make sure everything we do is for the people. We don't do things for us. We don't do things for our ego. We don't do things because it's like, oh, this will make the main event look great. It's like, no, we have a pulse on what fans in specific companies like, and we know that this is what they want to see. And it doesn't matter. I'll do whatever for the story. I'll do whatever for the people. That's always how it should be.
Like lose, like wrestlers should in any place. I don't know why this losing thing has gotten so deep into pro wrestling these days. It's
Don't
annoying.
Get me started. Don't get me started.
It's such a huge wall. It's such a huge wall, and it's annoying. Like,
And granted, like, sometimes, yeah, it don't make sense for your character. Then you have a point, but like, most people don't have a point.
Yeah, exactly. Some people do have a point, but most of them don't have a point.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever run into any issues because there was another tag team on the independents called the Main Event also?
I wouldn't say issues. First off, those are our boys.
Yeah, of course.
Love them to death.
Right.
I think it was just confusion.
Confusion. Mm-hmm.
Fan bases tagging other people. We're getting tagged by our fan base, like, oh, you guys got imposters, and they're getting tagged with the same thing. And then, like, when we reached out, we just had a good old laugh about it.
Right, of course.
Like, I think they had the name like 2 weeks before we debuted.
Oh shit.
So
Oh
like,
no.
we didn't know them, and they didn't know us, and we are two completely different main events for different reasons.
Yeah, so
and
different.
I think that's the beauty of it. I call it like the multiverse of main events. And but I think it was just confusion, and now I think there's a understanding that because we haven't run into that problem in a couple of years.
Yeah, recently it's been a lot better.
But I think we even got to have a match with them, and it was the main event versus the main event in the main event, and it was great. Like,
yeah, it's on YouTube, Pizza Party's YouTube. Shout out to Pizza Party Wrestling.
Yes,
but
Pizza Party for wrestling.
It was just so fun to even put that match together with the promos, and they, like, the way we set it up was like, I was like, maybe they should just announce the match by tagging them in our post. Like, and they just get mad, like, we're gonna show up because I'm so tired of this.
And it was cool. Yeah, it was fun.
And Duke and Gannon, shout outs to them. Shout outs to Duke. Love you, Duke. Love you, Gannon.
Good dudes,
right.
Really good dudes.
Very great dudes.
I'm gonna steer things a little kind of off to the side because I'm remembering now a little conversation, like when I was setting all this up with you, Midas. I was having some difficulties tagging Jay in a post about the show, and it turned into us both going, man, social media, if it wasn't for having like if it wasn't for having a business, like if I didn't have a podcast to promote, I feel like I wouldn't even be using it.
And I hate social media so much. Like, first off, and this is just because I'm here. So like, I scroll through Twitter, and I don't scroll like I just boredom. This is what most people's social media, boredom. And like, I'll just see, for me, I hate Twitter just because it's so toxic. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to get today.
Right.
And like, there's times, like, even Reg, I see you on the feed, and then I'm like, what's going on?
That's the same thing I think too when I get on there. I'm like, what is going on here? What did I do? I like tweet something and run away, and then I go back and it's like fire, destruction. I'm like, it's a joke, you guys. Relax.
With every week that passes, Reg like spends more time becoming the main character of wrestling Twitter.
No, I do not want. I don't want this.
No,
I
you
don't
no,
want-
that's the thing. You never want to be the main
I
character
don't
on
want
Twitter.
this.
You don't want to be the main
No,
character. No, that's
like
it.
for
That-
for me, if it's like you said, if I didn't have, and I was on social media like before wrestling, I was on social media for my own personal reasons.
Mhm.
Now I don't even think I would be on it for that. Like
Right.
I'm just so mentally, it's just mentally exhausting.
It's
When
draining.
people want to talk about the mentally drain, is social media is mentally draining, and I don't spend 24/7 on social media. I only use it to talk to my friends really, and I post because I have to post for my job.
Mhm.
Other than that, like I really try to stay away from it because I just feel like it's social media is just promoting more negative than positive. I love when I find my positive videos. And I'm like, why can't I get more videos like this? Because everything's just so negative. Everything and everyone has something their 2 cents to add when no one asks for their 2 cents. Like
Yeah. And it
everyone,
also gets really hard when you see other people's successes and it may be a bad day. And your life may be good and everything's fine, but it's just still that bad day. You always got to constantly remind yourself that like people are just showing off on social media. You know what I mean? It's a popularity contest, so it's just best to just kind of like put the phone down and just live your life happily, like your way on your terms and everything.
yeah, the number one thing I'm starting to remember and remind myself is that I used to treat wrestling, and this is not gonna diminish my work, but I used to treat wrestling like it was my life.
Mhm.
And this is the year I told myself, wrestling is not your life, it's a part of your life.
Mhm.
And you need to show your love outside of wrestling to yourself the same way you show your love to yourself in wrestling.
That's real.
So, I feel like a lot of not only wrestlers, but people just need to remember like we're all human and, we all go through things and doesn't mean that you're not awesome. Doesn't mean that at all. So I know I just feel like that's where social media it could take you because of all the things that it's it's giving you. Your algorithm is giving you these things. So, you know, social media is weird, man.
Do you feel like disconnecting from it has led to like a different perspective or enjoyment of wrestling with like not seeing so much like, feedback from people on, what they thought of their of your match or what they thought of this or what they thought
Hundred
of that?
percent,
Like you
hundred
just
percent,
you're not dealing with all those unnecessary opinions.
100%. I actually just did like a social media purge on my Instagram,
Mhm.
and it's just like I don't care about follower counts and all that, but like I'm big on like if I haven't spoken to you in a while or if there's not just mutual love there, like it's okay to peace out, and it doesn't mean that there's issues. So I feel like, I've unfollowed a lot of like, wrestling pages, podcast pages that, just is wrestling in your face 24/7. Here it is,
Mhm.
here it is, here it is. And it's always like met with like, oh, some rumor or some like I don't care about wrestling rumors anymore.
Mhm.
I don't care because we will never know the story.
No.
So just leave it at that. Just enjoy what you like and don't be a dick about it because that's just where wrestling fans are right now. Like you can't enjoy anything. And
Let's embroider that on a pillow. Oh my god, that. Oh shit!
There he is.
Whoa!
and this is not all wrestling fans, so I don't want it to get twisted. But
No.
like we do have those fans that ruin it for others. And I felt like I had a lot of pages that had that type of fan base, and I was like, yeah, let's unfollow all of this just to give myself some vibrations, good
Mhm.
vibrations. And I feel like it's okay to do so.
A wild lion has appeared.
Hi, bud.
Still experiencing technical issues, but that is him. to know that it was really him behind that.
You're muted. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Oh, here, hang on. I think I can just unmute him manually. No, I can't. Okay. However,
can't
you
hear him.
muted yourself.
You muted yourself.
It's like he's super kayfabe. Lions can't talk.
It's all good.
No, I taught him how. It's okay.
aha.
Rosetta Stone. It worked.
Oh my god.
What are some of your guys' kind of immediate summer plans? I know you guys got the big match coming up again August 18th, Hog Wrestling cage match against the Bookers for the Hog Tag Team Championships. What are some other immediate kind of goals do you guys have, and what are some future goals you guys have?
Immediate goals. I'll definitely get those House of Glory tag titles back. I think immediate goals is just to keep doing what we're doing. Keep grinding and trust the process. And future goals, it's just I just want to be in the ring with the best. You know, like we've gotten a lot out of our tag team run so far. And the names that we've stepped in the ring with is some of tag team's finest.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, you know, I feel like the goal I want is when people see us, they see tag team wrestling and it's like undisputed. Like, these are the guys. I don't need a PWI ranking to tell that these are the guys. I don't need to and no disrespect.
I'm like, hey, I'm here.
No. This is me just speaking freely because
he said, "Fuck your list."
No, not only. Me personally, when I came into wrestling, I never wanted to be that guy that was defined by accolades or list.
Totally.
So that's where I'm coming from. I was grateful for my spot in the PWI. Let's not get it twisted. But I also just want to be known as, you know, this is tag team wrestling.
Right.
And when I see these guys, that's how I feel. I don't want a list. I want you to feel it. So I think that's the goal, to just keep pushing and establish our place in wrestling, because we already feel like we're the best, and some people feel like that too, and others don't, and that's okay. But we're gonna do our best to show you why we are the best. And you know, we've been in the ring with Motor City, we've been in the ring with the Briscoes, we've been in the ring with the Rascals, and between Motor City and the Briscoes, and even Red and Brian, like, they are the ones that reminded us that you guys are tag team wrestling. You guys are doing it. Especially the Briscoes, like they really gave us that stamp of approval, and the confidence. Any confidence you see from us came from them, because they were the ones that told us, fuck everything else, excuse my language, because this is the most I've ever cursed in a podcast. And that's just how, you know, this is how authentic I am right now. But they were the ones that told us, like, you guys are doing the things that we did when we were your age. You guys are making the rounds. You guys are doing the right things, which means that you're in the right places and you're in the right company to be in. So they really let us know that, no, you guys deserve to be where you are in tag team wrestling. So that is definitely the goals.
That's dope, man. Rest in peace to Jay Briscoe, of course, as always, man.
100%.
Big time. Jay, are you here? Can you hear us now?
No, he muted himself. He doesn't want to be a part of this anymore.
Oh, okay. He's full muted. All right, cool. All right, then. Well, we'll assume that Jay's goals are, you know, with the
along
team
those lines,
with the team cohesion there. But you spend enough time with each other. I'm sure you. I'm sure you know
everything I'm saying. Everything I'm saying, he's probably just gonna piggyback off, and vice versa.
Yeah,
there you go. Well, then I'm sure you wouldn't mind also letting everyone know, you know, where you can be found at, but then also where we can find Jay, since we want to hear from him.
I'll start with Jay's first. So you can find him on Twitter and Instagram, Blazing_Lion, And you can find me on Instagram, ringleader_Midas, and on Twitter, ringleader Midas.
Mm-hmm.
What about in the ring? What's coming up immediately?
Immediately, let's see. We have Wrestling Open tomorrow.
Yes.
Hey.
So that is the immediate. We have a show called Loud Wrestling in the Bronx. We have Beyond coming up, the water show.
Yeah,
That's what I call it.
the water shit.
And then we got House of Glory.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, how can I forget? MLW on the 8th.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey.
MLW.
Yeah.
I saw you guys' promo on the last show. Very dope, very in depth. They're giving you guys some shine out there, which I'm very excited about.
They gave us our own special entrance. I was like, whoa, what's this? So very grateful for the opportunities that MLW has given us in such a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful to continue doing, work there. But I would say those are the immediate shows that I can think of at this moment. Lion, are you here?
Yeah, finally.
What other shows do we have coming up besides Beyond, Wrestling Open, Loud Wrestling, House of Glory, and MLW?
That's all we can announce for now. We're definitely gonna be back in Canada towards the end of the month. So stay tuned.
Back in Canada towards the end of the month.
Mhm.
All right.
Interesting. Very interesting. Mhm.
As a close to Toronto resident,
Be on the lookout. There's gonna be
right.
some good stuff.
Fantastic. I hope any of that involves a stop in Hamilton, Ontario.
Mhm.
But once again, Jay Lion, Ringleader Midas, thank you very, very much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you here as our
Thanks
very
for having
first
us, man.
our very first tag team on Indeed. Couldn't think of a
Mhm.
better way to start things off. So thank you again for your time. Reg, where can everyone find you at, my man?
Every Saturday, you can find me on Fightful Grapsity podcast with Philip Lindsay. Later tonight, you can find me on the AEW Dynamite post show with Denise on her channel. Tomorrow, I'm on the Ring of Honor post show with Kate. And every Wednesday, I'm here with Mike talking to the best independent wrestlers in the world on Indeed.
Absolutely. And myself, you can find me right here always every Wednesday with Reg talking independent wrestling, talking to independent wrestlers. Next week we have Scott from West Coast Pro Wrestling joining
sweet.
us.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
he's going to be talking to us about Cruel Summer. We have Erica.
We got to get the homies out to West Coast Pro.
Yeah. Oh, hey, there we go.
It's in the works. It's in the works.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent.
I'd love to see that.
Excellent. Yes. Main event on the West Coast agenda. Let's go.
Yes.
We have.
You know what? That's another goal. West Coast. That's another goal.
There
Just to
we
get
go.
on
Oh,
the
no, we
West
about
Coast
to make
some
that
more.
happen. We about to make that happen. I'm talking to Scott next week on the show.
And then coming up after that, we also have Erica from IWS joining us to talk about IWS premiering on Fight TV. And then Val Capone's going to be joining us the week after that. So going to be great to talk to her. And myself, just pay attention to my Twitter. I'm making a couple of appearances on Love Wrestling this weekend. I'm doing a double shift with them on Sunday for a couple shows. And other than that, just talking with Reg. So thanks again for spending some time with us this Wednesday. Thank you again, Main Event, for joining us.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace
Thanks
and
for
love,
having us.
everybody. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.